Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. In this video I have a tutorial or process video to share with you showing how I make these collage covers. I absolutely love making these. It took me ages and ages to finally feel comfortable with collaging. It was very much out of my comfort zone, but now I've done so many that I finally feel like, okay, now I kind of know what I'm doing. So here are my bases that I use, and this is actually a freebie that I have for you as well. There are 10 of them, so you can download those and use them as a base if you would like, and have something to practice on. Or if you don't have vintage music paper, they are there for you, and you can print them out on heavier cardstock if you want, on 200 GSM paper, or you can just print them on plain normal copy paper, and you can just do your collage on top of that, or you can sew them onto or glue them onto some other paper to make it thicker and sturdier. But yeah, they're just there for you as a base to work on and practice on if you would like. As I mentioned, yeah, there's 10 of them. They're over on Patreon. It's a public freebie, so anyone can access it. You don't have to be a patron to be able to download it. And while you're there, feel free to check out all the other freebies as well and download anything that you like. If you can't find it, the link will be below in the description box for my Patreon, and it will either be the very first post when you scroll down, or just keep scrolling down until you find it, or if you still can't find it, just type in the search bar freebie, or there might also be a button you can click that says freebie as well, and it will show up all the freebies that you can download as well. And the collage bases will be at the top of the list. So basically, I've just chosen 2 collage bases for me to work with. For the originals, I use manila folder, and I just glue on with my Bostik glue stick some vintage music paper, and then I go around the edges sewing around them with my sewing machine just to make sure it's all nice and stuck on, and to give it that vintage look as well with the brown thread. I have my vintage French ephemera pile next to me on my left, and then I have my basket of fabric scraps and offcuts. You can see there's a lot of florals, and I've got a few different colors, so I'm just arranging them around my desk, putting the pink ones at the top, the yellow ones at the bottom, and the blue ones I put to my right, which you can't see, they're off camera at the moment. But for this particular video, I will be making the pink collages. So you probably would have already seen these ones. I shared my latest collection in a video a little while back, and so now you're going back in time and you'll watch me as I make the pink ones. Okay, so just getting myself organized here. At the same time that I was filming this process video, I was actually also filming a studio vlog and a patron video request of showing my desk when it's clean and showing my desk when it's messy. So I had to keep stopping and starting and setting things up so I could film that vlog. Okay, so now I'm grabbing my pink fabrics, and basically my process is, yeah, I just lay out all my materials so that I can see what I've got to work with, and then I choose a focal piece, which is usually a fabric piece. Sometimes it's wallpaper, but I try to choose something that has a striking image. So usually I'll choose something with a large floral on it, or lots of little flowers, and that can be my focal point. Sometimes when I only have scraps, I have, you know, the offcuts and the flowers are cut off in different positions, and they're not the main focus area of the fabric. So when that happens, what I'm doing here in this particular collage set is using 2 pieces of that same fabric that will be my feature fabric, just because I didn't have a big enough piece or a striking enough piece that I felt that could stand alone as my standout feature piece. So what I'm doing is grabbing 2 pieces of it to make sure that when you look at it, you can see, oh, that's one that's sticking out, if that makes any sense. And then what I do is arrange around those two pieces. So I place my feature pieces first, and you can see that I've put one in a corner, and then the other one I put sort of like in the opposite corner, or if it's a longer piece, down the bottom. So one at the top, one at the bottom, just so it's spaced out. And yeah, I do try to also, I'm thinking about my fabrics, what the size of them, the shape, so having different looks, so they're not all going to be square, or they're not all going to necessarily be rectangle. I'll have some more that are square, some that are rectangle, some that are smaller, some that are bigger, so that there's all different types going on, lots of variety and lots of interest for the eye. And then, I'm just choosing my surrounding fabrics. So these are ones that may be a bit more neutral or plain in colour, or a smaller pattern, so it's not as, it doesn't stand out as much. It's just going to be a complement to, or it's going to complement the feature fabric. So you can see I've got this beautiful, I think it's called eyelet fabric, in this beautiful pink shade. And so I love using the more blank, like solid colored fabric as my background pieces. So often I'll put those behind the feature pieces and layer all of my vintage French ephemera on top of those neutral ones, or the solid color pieces. And it's just, really, really pretty as well, with the pretty florals. So I'm trying to just arrange it so you can see some of that pattern as well. And then I've also got some of this delicate white fabric that has the pink flowers. There's two types. One has a more pale pink and the other a bit more of a brighter pink. And so I think, I end up using 4 different fabrics in this particular collage set. But you'll notice maybe when you saw the collection that I did, my last collection, sometimes, I don't always collage in this way with this many fabrics. If I have larger pieces of fabric, for example, the blue floral fabric that has the blue and mauve flowers, I had quite large chunks of that fabric. And so sometimes when I collage with that, I pretty much only use maybe 2 different types of fabrics, or 3 rather than 4. But because what I'm working with here is lots of smaller pieces, that's why I've used 4 different types of fabric, just to fill in the space, and that kind of thing. So just talking about my process, I'm not sure if this is helpful at all, but I'll share all the little details of what's running through my mind as I'm putting this together. So you can kind of see I've got my base now. I've got my focal pieces and then my background pieces arranged around them. And I vary what I overlap, so I'm trying to make sure different things are overlapped in different places. And I'm also conscious of leaving some of the vintage music paper showing through as well, so that's going to be another layer. I don't want to cover the whole lot of that. Now what I'm doing as well with my vintage French ephemera is when I use, so when I have 2 as a set, because I do like making them as a set, as a front and a back, as a front cover and a back cover, what I also then like to do is not only have my fabrics being the same, so they coordinate and go together, but also have my vintage French ephemera coordinate and go together. So what I'll often do is use the same invoice or receipt or whatever the document is, or the same French scrap, and I'll cut out segments of it and then make sure that I put one segment on one of the covers and one segment on another cover, so that it looks cohesive, if that makes sense. So that the same type of script writing will appear on both covers, and the same tone of paper will appear on both covers. And then I'll just mix up the different types of invoices or documents that I'll use, so that there are different types of receipts as well. Sometimes I'll play around with different color tones of the papers, and I might play around with having some script, some handwriting, or some typewritten paper, or some ledger, just to give that variety as well. And again, that's how I get them kind of working together, looking the same, that kind of thing. So you can see at the bottom there, I've got 2 vintage French pieces with the script, and I really like using those pieces. It kind of makes me think of someone's name, because I can't read French. It's probably not someone's name. It's probably like the name of a business or a location or something. But I like the idea that this is going to be a cover of a journal, and it's got someone's name written on it or something, some sort of connection to them of why they would put that script writing on the cover. And then I also love using signatures and the date as well. So whenever I can find those, I'll cut those out and try to work them in somewhere on the collage. So I think that one says 1925, 7th of... yeah, I can't read that. And also you can see on the right hand side, so the one on the right hand side is going to be my front cover, and the one on my left my back cover. And you can see that piece there that I'm kind of holding right now. It's kind of a bigger piece, there's a lot more writing on it, and so that's kind of my front cover focal French ephemera piece, if that makes sense, to kind of give it my title or something like that for the cover. Now what I'm also doing is adding some lace. So when I make my covers, I like to have at least 3 components: fabric, vintage French ephemera, and some lace. And just, it depends on the size of the lace, where I place it. It might just be a little tiny piece in a corner, or it might be a whole strip along one side or at the top or the bottom. But yeah, somewhere in there I like to put a bit of lace. And I thought the white lace worked well for this particular set of collages because of the white in some of the pieces of fabric. And I think the combination of white and pink just looks really, really pretty. And so now I'm ready to glue these pieces down. I might now speed up this video, so bear with me. I'm just going to speed it up a bit so that it can go a bit faster now that you've seen the general layout. Okay, so now I sped it up and I'm working a lot faster, but let me know if you prefer it in real time, or if you prefer it all sped up. Sometimes I'm not sure how much I've got to say, and if I have a lot to say, I'll keep it at normal speed so that I can get everything out. Sometimes if I don't have much to say, I'll speed up the whole video. But I know some people prefer it in real time so that they can really follow along and see what I'm doing, and others just want the general gist and don't need it in real time. But anyway, let me know if you have a preference. So yeah, just gluing everything down, and I just use normal craft glue, clear craft glue from the cheap shop. The brand is Pastime Crafts. I get a lot of questions about what glue I use. Sometimes I do use fabric glue if I can get it. It's just the closest place I can get it is about an hour away, so I don't usually have fabric glue, but the craft glue does work its job well. I do just try to apply a thin layer to stop any bleed through. So I've had questions about that, like how do I stop bleed through? It does take a little bit of practice. When I first started out using glue, I was very, very glue happy, and I would have constant bleed through because I just applied too much glue. But now that I've had a bit of practice, I can generally know how to just apply a light touch, so that when you press things down, you're not going to get any seep through of the glue. But then again, if you get a little bit of seep through here or there, not too fussed about that. All part of the handmade charm. But if you really don't like any bleed through and you have some, all you can do, or one of the things you can do, is just cover it over. So you can just grab another bit of fabric or a bit of lace or French ephemera or whatever you have, and cover it up, and you can make it look like part of the collage, like you intended to do that. And sometimes I've had to do that. Sometimes I've done some, I don't know, some pieces and I've gone a bit glue happy and a bit of glue has seeped out or stuck on something else and made a rip or something like that, which has forced me to be creative and cover it over. And always, I think without fail, every single time that I made a glue mistake like that and had to cover it over with something else, every time I've liked it better with what I've covered it over with, because it forced me to try something different, put something there that I maybe not would have usually put there, and it forced me to get out of the box creatively. And yeah, I just love that mistakes are doorways to something innovative and creative and and really fun. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. There's always a way to fix it. Yeah, just cover it up if you need to, that kind of thing. Anyway, so I am just kind of working back and forth between the two covers. Sometimes when I get stuck with placement and I'm not sure where to place things, I'll just work on a different cover, and then I can kind of look at it with a fresh eye and see, oh yeah, let's place it there. I've just got a little strip here of that white fabric with the pale flowers, so that I could incorporate a piece of that in the other cover too. And you can notice that in like one cover there's a large piece of the fabric, but in the other cover it's only a small bit, and that's kind of fun too, because it's just contrasting that they're all different sizes, and just gives it a different look even though you're using the same fabrics. And so now I'm just gluing on this piece here, and I've figured out where to put my placement. And you know, sometimes you can be umming and ahhing like I am here. I'm just trying to work out where I want it to overlap. And usually what I want to do with my focal image or focal piece is have it overlap all the different elements. So what I'm doing here, I think, is I'm going to have it overlapping the white fabric, the feature fabric with the large roses, the lace, and the music paper. And I just cut it down a little bit because it was just a bit too blocky and covering too much of the music paper. And so I just cut it down, and now to my eye that looks much better, that size. And now just gluing down the little strip here. And yeah, that's why it's so fun using all the little scraps and keeping little scraps, because a little piece like this, just, I didn't need to put it there. I was umming and ahhing over if I should put it there or not, but in the end I thought, just why not? And also because I wanted to have it matching the other cover. But yeah, I like it. In the end it would have worked without it or with it. So, but in the end, just if you're umming and ahhing, just commit to something. It's going to be fine either way, is what I say. And sometimes, yeah, when I arrange it and then glue it, it will look a bit different because I've forgotten the exact placement of where I put things. So I think here with this one, I had it overlapping in one way before I glued it, and then when I glued it, I had it overlapping in a different way. But anyway, it all works out in the end. So yeah, let me know if you like collaging, if you've had a go at it. Like I mentioned before, it was so out of my comfort zone when I first started. I wanted to do it, but I kept putting it off because it looked so intimidating and I just had no idea what I was doing. My very first collages were complete fails. Oh my goodness, they were terrible. It just looked like trash. But yeah, getting more used to it, although it can take a very long time to put it together, to put the composition together. And so I don't know if it will come quicker to me later on, but yeah, I could spend like an hour just on one of the covers, just fussing around with where do I put this and where do I put this one and all that kind of thing. But I think I've gotten a bit quicker, and definitely doing two covers at the same time, I don't know, I think that helps go a bit quicker as well, because you're working with the same fabrics and pieces. Sometimes if I have a lot of the same fabrics, I will do 4 at a time, say. So for example, with the blue fabric, with the large blue and mauve flowers, I had a lot of that. And so one time I just had 4 covers laid out in front of me, and I just went boom, 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 laying out the different pieces. So I do work in an order. I start off with my fabric, my focal fabric, and then my background fabrics, and then I move on to the lace and the vintage French ephemera goes on top last. And so because I have a structure or an order to it, I can do them sort of in bulk like that with the 4 at a time, and I'll just go and lay out my focal pieces first across all 4, then I'll lay out all my background pieces across all 4 and build them up that way in bulk. But yeah, let me know your experience of collaging, if you like it, if you have any of your own tips, and yeah, I don't know. I'm running out of things to say now, but I think, yeah, now I'm just gluing everything down and we're pretty much finished. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, of course. And if there's anything you would like to see, let me know. This was a bit of a patron request from Carol and Catherine. They wanted me to show how I make my collages. I do have a tutorial on this already, but I thought I'll just do another one since I got that request. But yeah, if you have any other requests or anything, feel free to let me know, and I will see if I can have some fun getting creative and crafty and film that for you. I think I'm getting a bit better at being able to do requests, because I feel a lot more comfortable now with editing videos and doing voiceovers now. Pretty much, I don't know, maybe half, if not more, than all my videos on my channel are now done through voiceover. So I used to not do it as often because it was a lot of work, basically. It was a lot of work. It was like double the effort, because first you had to film the thing and then go back and do the voiceover. So it was like doing it twice. Whereas if I could just film the video and talk at the same time, I could upload it straight away. So this is a lot more time consuming. I do have quite a lot of videos ready to go. I just need to do the voiceover. I've got so many process videos and tutorials filmed. And I always think I'm going to be good. I'm going to do the voiceover on the same day that I film it, because if I leave it too long, I forget what I did. And that means it takes even more time, because I have to then watch the video, and then I can do the voiceover the third time I look at the video. So it's very time consuming, but I think I've done it so much now that I've got the hang of it, and I kind of know what I'm doing. So it's relatively easy now for me to do the voiceovers, even if it is more time consuming. So that's allowed me to do more process videos, more tutorials, because I don't like talking at the same time that I'm creating. It's too much effort. Oh, we're at the black screen. I'm sorry, didn't realize we were almost finished. But okay, thank you so much for watching. I'm just rambling at the end now. I hope that was helpful, and if it was, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye, guys.